Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey, Tom, standing up, so I got even more. I can move around a lot more,
Great. I'm excited about that.
And the sun is out of my eyes. It's amazing how you can make a simple solution. It's like, I have a stand-up desk. If I stand up, the sun's down at my waist. It's not in my eyes because thankfully I'm tall and the roof blocks it.
Look at you. What a great way to start your morning, right? You're standing up. The sun's not in your eyes.
And it's going to be a great day later because the book's coming in.
Because your book is going to... Look at you.
Yeah, we got to figure out a way for you and me to get together so I can give you a copy. I might even autograph it for you, Tom.
Would you please? If you would like to get your autographed copy, they are available.
Yes, they are.
Until the 28th, you can sign up and get your early edition episode. Bob will even sign it for you. And someone else wrote a foreword to it. I don't know who.
Yeah, Tom wrote a beautiful foreword. If you really scroll back on the Facebook page for the Ring of Renegades, you can see it. It's beautiful. It's touching. It says so much. I couldn't be more honored that Tom took the time to do that for me. And so let's get to today's show. Enough.
Okay.
I'm feeling awkward.
Really? Why? Because good things are happening for you? Do we need to have that discussion?
Yeah.
Let's move forward. Good morning, everyone. As you can tell, I'm Tom, that's Bob, and this is today's Antidote, where we try to help provide that one thing to help people move forward. So we're going to have a conversation about a topic, and we're going to provide our one thing. What we hope is that throughout the conversation, you'll share your thoughts and ideas as it comes up, because we know that will not only help our conversation, it will also help someone else out there who needs that today. And so you can also provide your one thing, because what's real for us won't necessarily be what's real for you in this conversation. And so I hope that you will share that in the comments, because that will only enhance the experience and the value for everyone. So this week we have been talking about triggers in your business, things that elicit an emotional response. And yesterday we had a conversation about words and how words do that. And Bob shared one of his words, which was when people say arrogant, that sets him off. So I think we thought today we would have a conversation about what are some of the words that are triggers for us, or that trigger something in us about ourselves, especially as it relates to our business professional work. So Bob, do you want to kick us off?
I do, but before that, Tom, can we tell people about the great networking opportunity that's coming up tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time? Today? Today? Oh, it's today.
Bob.
Welcome to Thursday. I'm Bob Graham. This just in. Today at 4 p.m. Eastern time, yes, we're going to do the Ring of Renegades Renegade Roundup. This is a great opportunity to get together with other business leaders, owners, and entrepreneurs and really get to know them, to build your network. One of the things Tom and I experienced when the pandemic came was we didn't have access to a network of people. We've tried to build that with the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. You're free to join that. And then this is the next step as I see it, where we get together and we share what's real for us. Tom and I don't put you in a room of 52 people where you look at a whole bunch of tiny heads and go, hi, I'm Bob, and I have a company, I do this, and you talk for like 30 seconds, then you fall asleep for 58 minutes. No, we don't believe in that. We want you to be one-on-one with people. We're going to put you in breakout rooms where two people are going to actually talk to each other. You can talk about your businesses, but we also give you a question to spark some discussion. I don't know. Have you put together the questions for today, Tom?
I'm working on them. I have some in mind.
Can you give someone a sample question?
So a sample question might have been, I think in our last one, we were talking about results. We asked, how do you measure results, or what are the results that you measure? so that you could get in and have a conversation about what that looked like. I think another question we asked was, how do you follow up? If you've had connections, you've done an event with someone, you've had one business follow up with them, how do you stay in touch? And I think that led to some great conversation about just what are different methods and ideas. It's an opportunity to share ideas and have people get to know a little bit more about you.
So that's today at 4 p.m. It's no charge. Just go into the Ring of Renegades Facebook group and all the details are there. I can assure you it's going to be well worth the investment of your time. Okay, Tom, so let's shift into some trigger words. I gave one of mine yesterday. Why don't you give some of yours today?
Well, I actually have a list. It's funny.
I know you're a little anal retentive this morning on this.
Well, it's something that I just started thinking about is like words that, and to me, they are words that it's not as much a trigger, I don't think. I mean, it triggers in me a sense of almost like a limiting belief or something that is not helping me move forward. One of the ones for me is but. Because I think all that does is it discounts whatever you said before. And it's interesting. I was thinking about this as I was getting ready this morning. I used to coach basketball at college. I helped out a little bit. And we had a player on the team who every time you tried to talk to her about something, the first thing they would say was, yeah, but. So it's completely discounting what, that but means, all right. Yeah, she said yes. So there was some sort of acceptance of, okay, yeah, you're trying to tell me something, but, and then would come up with the reasoning why it wasn't working or why it happened. And it became, among the little coaching team, the yeah buts. And I think I have remembered that forever, that although I hadn't really thought about it again until recently, and I've really tried hard to take that word out of my language. Because I think it discounts what was said before. You kind of throw it out there as oh yeah, I agree, but, and then let me tell you what the real truth is. And as you know, and I think you mentioned yesterday, I make a very conscious effort as best I can to not use that and switch but to and.
That's the most times I've heard you use the word but in all the time I've known you. No lie.
It was hard.
That is a string. That's probably a month's worth of buts coming from your mouth.
And so I think that it's it just is discounting. And so I really try hard that when I say and so if the player had said yes and, at least there'd been some acknowledgement that correct. Because in regard, what she was saying was, yes, but that's not really what's true. I
disagree with you.
Correct. And so I think that that's language that we don't even think about. It's a throw-in word. And this is what it really does. It says, yeah, I hear you. I'm going this direction. This is what the truth is. And I think that again, people don't think about that, but every time I think about it, I hear it, all I can hear is, yeah. This is the way it truly is.
I think that's a great example. I want to get some comments in, Tom. We have some great comments. Tim says, I solved the blinds issue. Yes, I did. Also, the book is coming in from Tim. I love that. And he also said, I've got mine coming. I'm really excited about it. Yes, Tim was one of the early adopters. That book is going out in the mail, hopefully today, if not today, first thing tomorrow. And then Tim also said, talking about triggers, one of my biggest triggers is when someone puts words in my mouth, especially when I've been clear about what I'm saying. Having someone interpret what I say through their own lens and drastically change my meaning has a tendency to set me off. That's good for me to know because I often interpret Tim's words when we're dealing with clients. So, but there's interpreting, bridging the gap between two different lists of experience, and then there's recalibrating. And if I had said, well, Tom, I understand what you're saying about the word but really but's the most important word in the English language when you agree, and you're like, well, wait, time out.
Yeah, because what you're saying is, I don't really agree with you.
Right.
It's something different.
Exactly. Steve says, good morning. Good morning, Steve. Tim says, I love this one, Tom. You'll love this. Bob calling Tom anal retentive is today's highlight. Yesterday was an obscenity and this today. And then Tim says, whenever I hear someone say, yeah, but, I always reply, but did you just yeah, but me? And here's the funny thing. I can fall into the trap of using that phrase all too often.
Well, I think again, unless you're conscious about it, it's just a part of our language. And so we just throw it in there. And that ultimately, we do it unconsciously and we really do it consciously. Because we're truly saying that what you're saying doesn't really matter. Let me tell you how it is. It goes back a little to one of my other words, which is right. It's kind of like saying, yeah, you think that. Let me tell you what's right. And, as you know, that's a word that I try not to use very much either, that I like to use the word real.
Yep. And then what about the word failure?
I know that's it's one of my favorites, but I think it's
favorites not to use.
Favorites not to use. Correct.
Just want to be clear.
Correct.
To interpret what you were saying.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that it just is. It's limiting, and it's not a true reflection of what happened. Again, I feel like that's a word. The only time I might use that word is if someone who really wants to take action intentionally chooses not to. That to me is you've just not given yourself the opportunity to have results. You've limited yourself. And it goes with the shoulda, woulda, couldas. I mean, I think all of those are just judgments looking back on what happened that you can no longer change. Yes, you might do something differently moving forward, but doing differently is, to me, thinking about moving forward, what could happen, woulda, shoulda, coulda is just rehashing the past. That, again, at some point, the past has happened. We have to move forward.
One of the interesting things to me, Tom, is we're talking about the words that are trigger words to us. And we've spent most of the week talking about us, but also the people we interact with have trigger words.
Absolutely.
I know when I say but, you sort of react to it. If I say failure, if I write failure in something we're putting out, you react to it instantly. So part of the beauty of figuring out our own trigger words is the next step to me is figuring out the trigger words of the people we interact with. So with clients, with customers, with with our family, with our friends, just really understanding what words trigger them, because when they are triggered by a word, that's not helping build the relationship. And I was thinking yesterday I came up with 5 or 6 words with people that I routinely engage with in business that I know they're the words not to use.
Mm-hmm.
With one person that we both know, she doesn't like when I use the word millennial. She's a millennial and she doesn't fit that mold at all. And she said to me twice, she's like, one, I did a presentation on millennials, kind of had to say the word, but afterwards she's like, I really prefer you not say that anymore. She was kind enough to share that with me. And when she shared it with me, it was real insight. And I think sometimes people give us the signal that this is a word that triggers them, but we don't respond to it. We don't notice that change of expression. We don't understand. We don't see their shift in their facial expression. We don't see them turn away from us or start looking at their watch. We are so into our own language and what we think the words are that we want to use that sometimes we don't see that other side. So as we talk about these words that can cause triggers in us, I think it's important to think about the people around us and the words that can trigger them. There are certain words that you say to me, and I'm going to react. It's a given. You do, and I do as well with you. But we're close enough, we've done enough together to be able to say openly, hey, if I say failure, you're like, hey, let's try a different word. Okay, you're right, Tom. I agree with you. If I say right, you'll stop me, and vice versa. That's not a bad thing. I think as we get more clear about the language and more precise about the language, that's when we can be much more successful in communication, which I don't care what business you're running. Communication is at the key. I don't care if you're managing people, building widgets, customer service, accounting, finance, administration, you are communicating with people. And so the more we can use language that's comfortable to the people that we're talking to, the more effective we can be.
Right. And I think it's really challenging when you're dealing with a group. You know, it's hard when you lead a team. And because there are things and ways that you can express yourself that some will react to positively. Others will not react to that at all. You know, it reminds me of coaching players in a sport, is that they all have different motivators and they all have other things that get them down. You know, if you yell at one person, they might just go hide in the corner. I had a kid I played with in high school who literally wanted to be physical before the games, like push people around, because I got him fired up. And we had other people who were like, dude, just leave me alone. I just want to stand up here in my corner and think about my role and what I need to do. And I think that becomes the challenge, because it's like you said, it's communication. It's like, how do we better understand those that we're communicating with, and what is going to trigger them to move forward in the right direction or hold them back? And I think it's such a challenge. And I think that's one of the hardest things I think about leadership, is you have to figure out, whatever the group of people that you are leading, they all come with different realities. What is real for them is different. You know, the person shared with you what was real with them. They didn't like the word millennials. I've shared with you, I don't like the word failure. I don't get upset about it, but I think that there's another way to share it. And I think that's why conversations like what we'll have in the Renegade Roundup are so important, because we better understand the person and what are the things that might engage them more or engage them less. And it's really a lot about some of the words that we choose and how we choose to use them that is going to find ways for us to engage with one another in a more effective way.
And it also is when we're trying to figure out how to interact with our customers. There are words that they react to. Like if you ask me what my company, Breakthrough Solutions, does, we do soft skills training. That doesn't resonate with people, because a lot of people are like, soft skills can't be trained. You either know them or you don't know them. They're not important because they didn't teach them in school. But when I talk about the power of people, people suddenly look. So I didn't really think about it until the last couple months, but soft skills could be a trigger to people to go, oh, that's that stuff, you know, I didn't learn in school, and I'm not a people person, and I can't figure it out. But when I talk about the power of people, oh, I can access that. And that kind of shift, I'm not saying that saying soft skills training triggered people, but in a way it may have. It may have gotten them thinking about, I don't really understand that. Just like if you said to me, you know, tax law. At the moment, if you tell me tax law, I didn't study that, I don't know it, that's trouble.
Right.
And so I have a negative reaction. But if someone called me up and said, hey, I understand you use QuickBooks. I want to help you figure out how to best position your company in the current climate of business, I'm all ears. Now I'm going to get 58 calls today from people.
It's so important, you know, when you think about what is one of the benefits of knowing what might trigger a response in someone. Mm-hmm. That's a great way to market to them. If I know that this is a pain point that they have, and I'm using language that they have used, they're going to be like, holy cow, that person gets me. They understand where I'm coming from. They have been in my shoes, or at least they understand what those are like. And so often I think we try to use our words rather than their words. And I think it goes with whether we're communicating with them as a member of a team, as, you know, someone who's bought from us in terms of customer service, or in terms of how do we attract the people that we want to attract. You know, we want to find those words that are most effective in getting in front of them. And I think that that's one of those things that we don't think about a lot, because we think we are right. We think we have the answers for what everybody needs rather than and we may. The question is, do we have the right words that are going to.
You just said right.
I did.
You said the right words. Oh,
the words that are real for them.
Or the best words.
Yeah, yes. Right. And that word is horrible. I mean, I think you can.
I wasn't trying to be a jerk. It's funny how easy they fall into discussion.
And I think that there's something about, the more I've thought about right, it's there are things that can be correct. Mm-hmm. I think it's when we think that there is no other solution.
Right.
When we have put my foot in the ground and said this is right and I'm not moving off of that. I think that's as I've thought more about it to get clear. Yeah, thanks, Tim. Tim just said I got busted. And that's okay. What I like about this is the more I have talked about it, the more I've gotten more clarity around what it means.
And more accountability.
Yeah.
If you're in a call with Tim and you say the word right,
yeah, he's going to call.
Whoa, hey, time out, Tom. Did you hear yourself just now? And that to me is how you fix this to use better language, is have accountability to someone to say, hey, I'm trying to not use the word but. I've been very conscious. I had a little sticky up on my computer screen that said, don't, avoid failure. To most people, they'd look at that and go, yeah, of course, you're trying to avoid failure. No, I'm trying to avoid the word failure.
Using it, right?
Exactly. And I think going back a couple minutes, you were talking about the words that we use as we create something and the words that our customers use. I was thinking about this last night for some reason, and it's founders' words versus finders' words, right? The founder has their language, and the people trying to find that good or service have their own language. Right. And when they sync up, that's when the opportunities come about. And so if you think about, you can watch. Tom and I have tried to model this with the Ring of Renegades. Our language has gotten better in helping because we've listened to more people. When we do the Renegade Roundup this afternoon, Tom and I are going to be listening. That is a gold mine. And our customers, I don't care what business you're in, your customers tell you the language. They give it to you on a silver platter, and most of us don't really pay that much attention. And that would be my one thing today. When you're dealing with your customers, listen to their language. Listen to what triggers them to respond towards what you're offering and what repels them. Because in a 5-minute discussion, we can do both so easily and so quickly.
Well, and I think those are the things. Is like you said, the client's going to tell you. We know a situation where a client had dissatisfied service, and one of the things that was really helpful for that team was when the client actually shared their experience. And that team was able to see, I had never really thought about that. I just assumed that because I did this, that was clear. This was what we did. And that all the customer really wanted to know was what was going on.
Yeah, it was funny. I was involved in that, and that customer saying that 5 times in a 15-minute video, it finally clicked. And at the end, I was leading the facilitation around that video. And the video, I said, what was the number one thing this client wanted? Everyone said the same thing.
Because they took the time to listen. And correct. I think so often we just want to share what is right for us, which is really what is just real for us. And we're so interested in doing that we don't take the time to listen to what is the other person saying back to us. What are the words that they are using and how are they using them? And the value that has. Not just, and again, that as we talk about all the time, that's the killer of networking events. When someone just goes in and just starts blah, 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 blah about what they do and the great services and benefits they have, you stop listening, right? You stop paying attention. And because or if you're the one who shares first, they're so worried about what they're going to say that they're not really listening about what you're saying.
Let me throw some more comments in, Tom. You know, it's my favorite part. Tim says interpersonal communication is a skill that takes time to figure out. Everyone has differences, and how to address those differences takes real empathy. See what I did there?
Yeah, that's an outcome. That's being real, is when you share empathy. Thanks, Tim.
That was very nice. I also want to post this. Tim said, this is really nice. I really appreciate you guys. Have I told you both how awesome you are recently? I don't know if that means, has he told us recently how awesome we are? Or has he told us how awesome we've been? We've only been awesome recently.
Recently, right.
And that's the issue with language, right? And I'm not trying to pick on Tim. It's a very kind statement. But we have that language that sometimes the words, the order we put them in, can be served, can be,
read them different ways.
Exactly. And we see this with email and texting. I had a client I was working with, and they were like, well, I'm going to text this person about the thing. It's like, no, you got to call. If you text these questions, it's going to throw them off. They're not going to respond. If you call, you can feel them out.
Right.
And I think we often more and more default to technology, to text, to email, rather than hopping on the phone. And I find when I have phone discussions, that's when I learn a lot more. That's when I hear the language. When I text and email, not so often.
Well, because they have time to think about it, right?
So
they want to craft the perfect message rather
correct.
than share.
Or they take it the worst possible way.
Correct. They read
because I could take Tim's message there and be like, geez, so we weren't awesome before, Tim? Suddenly we're awesome? What? Come on, dude. It's possible. And I would tell you, having worked with a lot of communications in my career, most of the time, people will take things the worst possible way.
Yeah.
And Tim corrected himself. I knew he would. I feel bad for making him type it. Have I told you recently how awesome you are recently?
All right. I got to think about that one. So that might be a good time for us to start to wrap up.
And Steve had a comment I wanted to get in there. Do you mean orphan as in one who has no parents, or orphan, sick, frequently? From the Gilbert and Sullivan fans out there. Wow, we're going, wow.
I'm going to have to go do some research on which Gilbert and Sullivan musical that's from.
Could you name a Gilbert and Sullivan musical?
State Fair.
State Fair, okay. Is Music Man Gilbert and Sullivan?
I don't know. If I asked my daughter, either my daughter would know. Bam, like that.
I feel like it's that genre right in there, like Oklahoma, Music Man, Stage. What did you just say? Stage what?
State Fair.
State Fair. That's it. Yeah. Steve's really testing us today. Tom, you didn't give us your one thing, so give us your one thing real quick.
I think my one thing is because you shared a little bit about listening, and I think that is excellent. I also think it's about can we be more cautious in the words we use and how we use them, and how does that, and what true meaning they have. It's like me with the word but. For me, what's real is I know that when I use that word, I'm discounting what somebody has just said, or what I've repeated. And so that's not the way that I want to interact and engage with people. I want to be like, I hear you, and let me also share some other thoughts. So I think that's my one thing. We'd love to hear what your one thing is. So please feel free to share it in the comments.
And Tom, I need to correct us. Sorry. Steve came through with Pirates of Penzance, a very nice one. And he also said, Music Man is not Gilbert and Sullivan, is Victorian England, not mid-century USA. I admit to my flimsy
understanding of the theater world.
Yes, I will study up, and next time I will be ready.
There you go.
The joys of doing a live broadcast.
It's the beauty of it, right? We get a chance to learn. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. We hope that you'll join us this afternoon, and I'll just put this up just again in case. Join us for the Renegade Roundup. Oops, let me get rid of Steve's comments. Oh, the technology.
Hey, Tom, can we do something? It just strikes me. We're going to have a book come in later today. Can we give away a book this afternoon? We'll just randomly pick someone who attends the Ring of Renegades Roundup, and I'll sign that book and mail it to them.
Sure.
Easy peasy. Wouldn't that be great?
It's your book. Sure. Of course we can choose to do that.
Okay. I just think that might entice someone to come to the event.
Okay, great. If not, you can also purchase on our website, renegadesuccessnetwork.com. And again, we have great conversations like this all the time, just like the one we're going to have this afternoon at 4:00 Eastern time. We also are stepping our toes in the water of Clubhouse. So if you are on Clubhouse, or if you have an iPhone or an iPad and would like to be on Clubhouse, let Bob and I know, because we can give you an invite. They're kind of just launching it softly. So we have 3 different times that we are going to be on there. You're going to like this, Bob. We are.
Oh, yes, we're real.
Wednesdays, 1 p.m. Eastern, and Friday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. So we hope that you will come and join in additional conversations in a way to continue to help yourself move forward with your business and your organization and whatever next step you need. So please join us this afternoon, or join us on Clubhouse tomorrow morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, where we'll talk about lessons learned for the week. You can also join us in the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, where conversations like this are happening all the time. It's a growing community. We want you to come and be a part of it if you're not already. You can do that by going to Facebook and searching for Ring of Renegades. Once there, it is a private group, so you're going to have to ask to join, and you're going to have to tell us why you're a renegade. And then you can become a part of our growing community, where we're helping one another take our next step along our own unique pathway to success.
And let me throw in one more thing, Tom. Tomorrow morning, we're going to do our broadcast at 7 a.m. Eastern time, not 8 a.m.
7 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So Tim, get up really early. Tim is in Central time.
Or stay up super late.
That's an option. You can do either or. All right, everyone. If you are struggling with understanding the words that your clients, your community, your team that are saying, and you want some help trying to figure that out, you can join our Renegade Success Network, where we're helping other business owners, leaders, and entrepreneurs figure out the messagings that they should be sharing, listening to what their customers, clients, and employees are saying, so that they can take the next best step forward. Here's the beauty. It is a membership group. And so, yes, you could stay as a part of that forever. But if you're struggling with a couple of things and just need help for a couple of months, sign up, become a member for a couple of months, solve whatever the challenges that you have. And then if you want to, you can leave. But we think that you'll find value and want to stay. And you have the opportunity to stay as long as you feel you need the help to continue to take your next steps. So here's some further information about the Renegade Success Network. Have a great day, everyone. Are you struggling to make your vision a reality? Are you stuck and don't know what to do next? Are fear and doubt holding you back? The Renegade Success Network will help you determine the next steps on your pathway. Here is some of what you will get. Create your pathway call to start you on a better path. Unlimited laser solution sessions to keep you from getting stuck. Nurture your network events to build your network with other successful leaders. Monthly Renegade challenges to prepare you for what lies ahead. The Renegade Success Vault, giving you access to videos, tools, and tips on specific topics anytime you need them. And the Renegade Success Network community, an exclusive Facebook group of like-minded renegades, all working towards achieving their goals. You have a choice. Do it yourself and fumble forward slowly and alone. Or join the Renegade Success Network and be part of a community built to help you find your own pathway. Join today at renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Act now and jumpstart your journey on your own pathway to success.